Hey guys, my name is Jordan Demedio. Um, I'm a nurse working in a critical care setting, work at Duke Regional Hospital, so it's kind of like a branch off of the big university hospital. Um, so, our discussion group had a recent debate about North Carolina House Bill 536. The name of the bill is Increased Funding for Health Services, for Behavioral Health Services. Um, One of the best arguments for the topic is that emergency rooms are becoming more and more filled with psychiatric patients that aren't really necessarily being treated like they should in the emergency room. Um, and also, there's no inpatient rooms for them to go to. Um, One of the best reasons to pass the bill would be to help fight this shortage of spaces for psych patients. Um, I saw one of our group mates posted study or news about one of the hospitals near where I work. I believe it was Wick Med in Raleigh. They actually had to close the ED because there's so many patients there, and I guess a lot of them were psych patients. So, I mean, obviously, psych patients aren't getting care that they should be when this happens. And then also, there's a lot of time sensitive issues that should be dealt with in the emergency room. So, I'm sure Wake Med's a stroke center, so probably there was a delay if anybody had a stroke during that period. Um, it's basically, the sooner you can get TPA after ischemic stroke, the better. So that would be delayed. And then also, if there's STEMI patients, they're also losing more heart because they have to be diverted to another hospital. So I think that's about what I was going to say there. Okay, and then the best argument against the topic, against Bill 536, is that I don't think paramedics are equipped to provide mental health care. They receive some training, during their schooling for mental health, but also it's more of an emergency context. This bill, the idea is that paramedics are going to be providing care in more like rural settings and community health type settings, which I don't think is something that they really would specialize in. Yeah. And then also I saw in one of the studies there was words from like a paramedic where he said that he learned very briefly about mental health while in school, and that most of what he learned was learned on the road. And then so if it is an expectation that paramedics are going to start doing this, filling this role, then they should also be taught how to do it instead of just kind of like thrown in there. Otherwise, we're just kind of wasting people's money. Okay, so the progress of the bill right now, it's in the Committee on Appropriations, and it was referred March 30th, 2017. So it's probably stalled and never going to get anywhere, but it's still there. My stance is against the bill. It sounds good in theory. We should have more funding towards mental health, but I don't think the way that they went about it is really the right way, and I'll explain about that a little bit later. So, reasons against the bill, I kind of listed the first one. The most important one is that I don't think paramedics are trained to actually carry out this role. And then another one of the big ones is the I think they're spending $2.5 billion on creating crisis centers for children and adolescents in the community. and one of my group mates found some research that over a third of children drop out of these crisis center programs within 2 days of medical follow-up. So, in my opinion, this is kind of just wasted money, and there's got to be a better way to reach these children and adolescents. Yeah. So one of the points there with the adolescents is there's kind of like social influences that drive adolescents not to participate in adult-led programs. So I think a better way of dealing with it would be to place the money in some sort of like peer program where they can kind of rely on their peers to help them through these issues. I think the bill should stay stalled in the committee like it is. I don't think it's a good bill. Hopefully next year they can create a new one that kind of has better ideas behind it. And yeah, so like I said earlier, mental health care is definitely lacking. I don't think that this bill is the solution, though. I think it's just kind of wasting taxpayers' money. So yeah, instead of investing in a paramedic-driven program, we should be finding ways to incentivize quality healthcare providers to get into the mental health field. I think that generally it's kind of a field that people won't want to get into. And there's not really any reason, for the best to be like, oh, I'm going to get into mental health. Then, the field also has a high burnout rate, probably due to like lack of positive outcomes and being overstretched and not able to provide the quality care. And also there's, the inherent danger, much more so than other nursing or provider roles. All right, thanks for listening, guys.